Murder, She Told is an award-winning true crime podcast created by credentialed victims advocate Kristen Seavey that dives into the lesser-known cold cases and true crime stories from New England and beyond. Murder, She Told uses detailed and documentary-style storytelling, weaving in original interviews with family, friends, and investigators closest to the case. Rooted in deep research, straightforward narratives, and the victims and their family at the center of every story, Murder, She Told will speak to any listener no matter where they call home. I'm going to play a clip from an episode of Murder, She Told, and if you're looking for cases you haven't heard on other podcasts by a show advocating for victims and their families, be sure to check out other episodes too, like the disappearance of Reeves Johnson, a case that host Kristen works directly with the police department on, and the story of Rebecca Pelkey, an MMIW case that features discussions with family and court records of the original suspect interrogation, or an interview with the only known survivor of the Connecticut River Valley serial killer. Learn more at murdershetold.com and find Murder, She Told now wherever you get your podcasts.
I remember Danielle Bertolini as spunky and funny. I'm pretty sure she was voted the class clown in elementary school. Danielle was a childhood friend of mine. We both grew up in a tiny town in central Maine. She got in trouble a lot because she couldn't sit still, and she loved to talk. At 20, Danielle, who was so excited to be a mother, lost her baby prematurely, something that completely changed her. A few months later, in the summer of 2010, she moved to Northern California, hoping to heal and move on with her life. But she was vulnerable and got wrapped up in a bad crowd. After the beauty of the northern coast wore off, Danielle decided it was time to come home. This is her mother, Billie Jo.
She called to let me know that she was ready to leave. She was wanting to tell the stories of the things that she has seen. And she was going to go to law enforcement, but she never made it that far.
On February 9th, 2014, 23-year-old Danielle was seen near the Swains Flat area of Highway 36, getting into the car of an unknown male who was supposedly giving her a ride into town. She was never seen alive again. Billie Jo went to California several times to search for Danielle the year after her disappearance. This is a moment she will never forget.
So we stopped and I got out and just started taking a walk through the woods and looked like little feet marks. You know, Danielle wore a size 6.5. She had tiny feet. She wasn't very tall and looked like drag marks to me, you know. So I was walking and the whole time praying, you know, if I find her, just don't let it be gruesome. I don't think I could take it. And my younger sister said, Billie Jo, you need to come here. And she said, I found this. And I looked down and I dropped to my knees. I said, don't touch it. It was a shirt that I gave Danielle back in October of 2013 when she was in Seattle with us, because she absolutely adored the shirt. So I cried and I said, I'm staying here. Somebody's got to go to where we can get cell service and call law enforcement and have them have crime unit come out here. Come to find out, where we found Danielle's shirt was where she was killed. That's where her last breath was taken, according to our dog team from here went to California with me. The dog hit on the big tree that was out there, and it was hollowed out. It was probably a 9-foot by 12 feet around, I guess, hollowed out redwood tree. That cadaver was in the tree. And she was probably left there until dark time to where he could do what he did with her and then dump her like a piece of trash off the side of a mountain.
I can't imagine. I mean, that is the absolute worst nightmare, especially for a mom. You are such a strong person to have to to have to deal with that, and I'm so sorry.
Thank you. But I have no choice.
I know.
I have to. She deserves justice. They
Absolutely.
all do. And I won't give up on my child. I promised her that. I promised her I would get her justice, and that's what we're trying to do.
Danielle Bertolini isn't the only woman to go missing in Northern California. In fact, she's more famously known as one of the Humboldt County Five, a group of young women who went missing and whose stories seemed similar or possibly related. The women who make up the Humboldt County Five are Jennifer Wilmer, who went missing in 1993, Karen Mitchell in 1997, Christine Walters in 2008, and Sheila Franks and Danielle Bertolini in 2014. There is no evidence that connects all 5 cases together, except for Danielle and Sheila, the only 2 whose remains have been recovered. Sheila Franks was 37 when she disappeared on February 2, 2014. She was last seen by her boyfriend, a man by the name of James Eugene Jones. On February 9th, Danielle was last seen getting into a car at a friend's house. The driver of that car? James Eugene Jones. You've been listening to Murder, She Told. I'm Kristen Seavey. If you enjoyed this excerpt from the Danielle Bertolini story, I encourage you to check the link in the show notes for the full episode. There's also a link to a petition for Danielle and Sheila that I would love for you to sign. You can find Murder, She Told on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Learn more at murdershetold.com and find Murder, She Told wherever you get podcasts.